What up, what up, what up? Prime Mega New Trees reps on the fullest. Trees up. I was watching this YouTube show, this podcast. I believe it's called Diary of a CEO, and it had a guest by the name of Simon Sinek. And he said a few things that stood out to me. The whole conversation was about AI and how we're just eventually going to be dehumanizing everything with how we use AI. We're just going to take out everything that makes us human with the use of AI, with the overutilization of it as we go forward in the future. And we as human beings, some people strive for perfection, and some of us try to keep a balanced viewpoint of everything. I, for one, I don't strive for perfection. What he said was our imperfections are what make us human. I say, ironically, our imperfections are what make us perfect in God's image. We're supposed to make mistakes. We're supposed to stumble. We're supposed to not know everything, and it's also about not being afraid to make mistakes. He said one more thing that was important to me that also stood out, which inspired me to even think even further, is that he said he'd rather have an 80% failure than 30% success. Now think about that. And I hope I'm saying that correctly, but I get the gist even in saying that. So rather than me be successful by 30%, the failure at 80% means a lot more, because that path clearly you're going to develop so much character from that, so much knowledge and wisdom from putting what you know into practicality. And I thought that was really like a deep concept. I'd never thought of anything like that. Like, he put it in such a linear way of thought that it was visual to me, that I could see that, like, wow. Because I feel like that. I feel like the only difference between me now and me previously is that I, like others, did not like the feeling of failure. I don't think anybody does. But it's something about when you get used to falling and getting back up time and time and time again. It's uncomfortable, but as you keep doing it, you start to notice there's these jewels and these gems that you gain somewhere along the journey of you getting back up again. I can't tell you where or when, but that's for each person's path. And you'll find that along your journey. Now, some of us don't get that far for certain things because right away we recognize this ain't for us. And then some things we choose to participate in, we see something in there, and that we're down for the fight. We're down for the struggle. And we know the struggle is good because eventually it will bring about some enlightenment to go up under our belts. And in the grand scheme of things, it ultimately leads to empowerment of self. And when you're not able to experience everything that life has to offer, the ups and the downs, the lefts and the rights, you're skewing when you're holding yourself back from that. when you become so afraid that you don't want to move, that your feet become like cement, that you don't want to make these mistakes. Again, I'm glad I broke out of that, and I know others that have as well. But at some point, you have to learn to move regardless, because it is the human experience. Failure is a part of the human experience. Growth from the failure is the human experience. It's the best thing that could ever happen to you. Is some of the best things. Let me put that in context. Some of the best things that could ever happen to you will not be the most pleasant. And I can say that now, looking back at some of the things that I tripped and stumbled time and time through, and some of the other things that I tripped and stumbled through and immediately got away from. But as I said earlier, that some things I stuck around and I was down for the fight, because I could see where this was going. I could see where this would ultimately lead to a rich experience that I could take with me into the next level. Until I'm able to figure something else out and stumble into something else, trip, fall, get back up, figure it out, to now take that into another level, ascension. And just don't count yourself out if you failed at something, or if you're not doing the greatest, or if you're struggling in something right now. It's part of the process. It has to be like that. Why? Because you'll look back later and go, I get it now. I didn't see it back then, but I get it now. I get it. Imperfections are what make us perfect. And it encompasses so much. It's so much a richer experience. You give yourself 3-dimensional space when you're able to open up your world to the things that not only strengthen you, but also could make you nervous or fearful. It's just so much, the lens becomes so much richer when you're able to experience things like that. It's second to none. It's a beautiful experience, especially when you're able to go with hindsight being 2020. You can have those aha moments and go, this, I saw this before. This happened before, and it ain't going to happen like it did before, because God afforded me the opportunity to stumble into this situation. And he also let me pick myself back up and gave me some motivation to go forward and to keep moving and not stop regardless. And imperfections are what make us perfect. Not, again, if we're going to weigh things on the scale of course, machinery and AI, and imperfections are what make us human, versus something that is totally geared on quantifying something down to an equation to where there will be no mistakes. It's just that. It's not supposed to feel any emotion or gain any spiritual wealth from the experience. It's just that. It's to lock in on the target and pretty much eradicate whatever the problem is. So and another irony is that man created something that eradicates all mistakes. Something that's a living thing that is ultimately flesh and blood, prone for mistakes, can invent and create something that does totally the opposite. It would just totally get right to the point and get rid of mistakes. There's definitely irony in there. But anyway, I just want to tap in with y'all, and pass this information along. Inspiration that I was feeling. I felt as though that, this is what, how you should be feeling. Your imperfections are some of the greatest weaponry that you can ever have, that you can ever own, and it's God-given, it's tailor-fitted, it's meant for you. It's your boy Prime Mega. Comment below. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Let's have a blessed week. Have a blessed day. Let's get it, y'all. Trees up.